everybody, welcome to Heart Talk. It's kind of crazy to think that today is New Year's Eve. Like, can tomorrow really be January 1st of 2026? That is such a wild thought. But I want to tell you something that I've done for years. I don't know, I think I started it, about 10 years ago. I just began to, as I would go into the new year, reflect on how the year went. I started asking the Lord, what is the one thing that you want me to focus on for this year? Where do you want me to put my heart, my spiritual heart and my mind? And, because the Lord knows, here's the beautiful thing, God knows everything about us. He knows the past, He knows the current, He knows the future, He knows where He wants us to go, He knows the plans and every purpose and plan that He has for us. He knows it already. And so why not ask Him, Lord, what is a spiritual focus that you're inviting me into for the next year? And I started that, I think in 2017, and I have never regretted it. And yes, sometimes there have been some years where I kind of forgot, like you say you're going to go to the gym in January, and by February, you don't even go to the gym. Like, what's a gym? I don't even know what a gym is. You know what I mean? So, but I can say that in the last 4 or 5 years, I've really held on to it. And one thing I've learned about finding that word, just that spiritual focus to hang out on in, is without fail, it's exactly what I needed in that year. It's exactly the focus. I remember a couple years ago, my focus was make room. And everything that I did that entire year, and the thing that you have to do, and you just can't say, okay, this is my word. You've got to put it in front of you. You got to speak it. You got to write it down. You got to put it where you hang out every day, on your mirror with your lipstick, or by your desk. You've got to write that verse down. You got to write that word down and keep it before you constantly, because we will forget. It's just going to happen. So I remember writing make room on my board, right in my desk where I work every day. And I'm so thankful I did that, because the Lord showed me that particular year that I had gotten my life so busy that if I walked into a room, you see all of these things, and there was nowhere for Him to sit. And the only place that was available for Him was over in the corner. Imagine all these boxes and all this junk, and there was one little spot for Him to sit over in the corner. So the focus that I did that year was I needed to clear out the clutter in my life so that He had the center of the room, not the corner of the room. So the word that the Lord has given me this year, for 2026, and I'm sharing it with you because I am making everything that we do with Unveiled Living, everything that we do with Heart Talk, about this one word, and that word is purpose. And here's the reason why, and I love it. In Ephesians 1:11, it says this: furthermore, because we are united with Christ, we have received an inheritance from God. For He chose us in advance, and He makes everything work out according to His plan. I love that thought. He chose us in advance, and He makes everything work out according to His plan. So the phrase His plan comes from the Greek word prothesis, and it means a setting forth, a deliberate plan, a predetermined plan laid out in advance. And that right there has stopped me in my tracks, because it tells us this: purpose is never something that you actually go chase. Yes, you'll find all kinds of books chasing purpose. You got to find your purpose. It's like we got to go digging for treasure. We're going to find it somewhere. No, actually, it's already been set in place and in motion in advance by God Himself. Before you ever breathed your first breath, before you ever spoke your first word, before you ever got your first job, all of those little things in your life, God already had a divine purpose in your life. It was already planned. So you know what this means? It means that you don't lack purpose. Maybe you've struggled, like, I can't find my purpose. Well, guess what? It's in your hands. It's already in your hands. You just may be lacking the permission to believe that it's already there. But I have a feeling that if I was sitting across the table with you drinking a cup of coffee, and I said, what is the thing that drives you? What is the thing that motivates you? Boom, there's your purpose. I guarantee we would be able to dig it out probably within 5 to 10 minutes at the most. But so this is where we're going to head into next year. And I want to do this because I think it's kind of fun when you share a story of someone else's life. Now, I don't know this person. I don't know if she even has a walk with God, and that's not the point. I just want to share this story because it doesn't matter who you are. God has a divine purpose. He's created a purpose for everybody on this planet. So there's a story about this lady, Sarah Blakely. You might have heard from her or heard of her because she's the woman who founded Spanx. Okay, I don't wear Spanx, but I have worn similar things that are like Spanx. And so we can all say as women, thank you, Sarah, for creating such an amazing, amazing thing to help all of our cellulite disappear when we wear beautiful clothes. Okay, but here's the thing. She wasn't chasing the big idea to create Spanx. She was selling fax machines door to door, feeling stuck, and she was wondering if there is anything else to life but this. So one night, standing in her closet, frustrated, she grabs a pair of scissors and cut the feet off of her pantyhose because she wanted that smooth look with her white pants. You know what I'm talking about. So that was the spark, and it didn't stop there. Instead of dismissing that one moment, something all of the sudden just kind of grabbed her, and she began to pay attention to it, and she realized, wait a minute, this actually solves a real problem. She started asking questions. She did her research. She made the phone calls. She used the $5,000. That's all she had in her savings account. She didn't quit her job, but she took one small step forward every single day towards that dream, that purpose. She learned how to write a patent. She figured out how to get a prototype made. She pitched the idea herself, went door to door again, and until finally, guess what happened? A buyer said yes. And little by little, that simple idea in her closet, you would never think, oh, that's going to happen. That's going to turn into something. That's going to turn into a multi-billion-dollar company. No, you would never think of that. But guess what? It turned into something bigger than she could have ever imagined. So it didn't start with a brand. It didn't start with confidence. It didn't start with clarity. It started with awareness. And then the obedience it takes to take the next step with what was already in her hands. And maybe that's where you are. Maybe you actually know what that purpose, what that call, what that in advance that God has given you, but you just haven't taken the next step. Well, guess what? That's what we're going to unfold the year of 2026. Even in our digital magazine, every single one of them is going to set you up to truly walk in the true purpose that God has called you to live. You see, God has planned something so beautifully for you, and I believe that He is inviting us in this year to come to begin to walk it out, one obedient step at a time. And you know what? I want to thank you. If you've been watching me for a while, thank you for coming here every Wednesday, for landing here, for listening in your car, if that's you on your car, or if you're listening at home while you're cooking dinner, or I don't know, maybe you're out in the garage working on your lawnmower. I don't know who it is and who's listening, but I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up every single week. This place is special because you're here. And I just want to invite you to come and join me in 2026 because we're going to go on a beautiful ride of discovery of what all that God has in mind for us. So stay expectant and remember, the best is really yet to come. Until next year.